Right, welcome back, and it's another lap and test for you. And again, something different. We're doing motorbikes this week, and that's because the LCC Sanctus is on offer this week. And I say on offer, it's still pretty expensive for a bike, still 1.2 million even on offer. So let's have a look, see if it's any good. Now, obviously my list so far has all been cars, so before I took this around the track I did a very quick lap in the Zombie Chopper, which did it in just over 10 minutes and 10 seconds, and I took the Innovation round as well, which did 9:53. And from those two, what I found strange is the Zombie Chopper felt really slow. As soon as I got on the Innovation, that felt really quick, but that didn't really translate into that much extra time on the lap. It was only sort of 17 seconds across the whole lap. It's not a huge amount considering how much faster it felt. So that gives us a bit of a benchmark, so we know what we're up against. We know we're around the 10-minute mark for a chopper. Obviously I'm not going to compare these to things like the Hakuchu drag. Anyway, what do I think of this? First impressions, I mean, this thing looks cool. It's worth the 1.2 million just for something that looks this cool, but it's not all good. This is, in some ways, it's like the motorbike equivalent of the Arbiter. Fully upgraded, this thing has so much power that it's pretty much undrivable in the wet. It's okay in the dry, but in the wet it's incredibly difficult even to start going. It just wheel spins so much, it's unbelievable. But in the dry, it's not too bad. The handling on this is definitely not as good as the Innovation. Of the three, in terms of how nice they are to drive, or ride, should I say, the Innovation's definitely my favourite, which shows it was a good choice. That was the first bike I ever bought back when I started this GTA journey around a year ago. So it's good that it's still up there, but this looks cool, and I've got to admit this does feel quite a lot faster, so I'm expecting when I get round to the top speed test we'll find that this bike is quite a bit faster than the other two. So I'll shut up for now, and we'll continue this lap and we'll see how we do on the top speed. So the one thing on this is that the handling is really poor. It's really woolly at low speed. As I've already said, it's very difficult to set off in the wet because it's slightly overpowered, but combine that with a really poor turning compared to the other bikes, and it makes the through town handling not great, I'll put it that way. And here we go for top speed time. Now, one thing to remember for top speed on bikes, I'm sure you all know, if you pull back on the thumbstick when you're riding a bike, it'll do a wheelie. Well, most bikes will do a wheelie, some can't. This one does a pretty good one as it happens. But also pulling back does increase your top speed, but it's very difficult to control. What you can also do, you can push forward. That gives you a smaller increase in speed, but it's much easier to control. So I'm trying to remember to do this round the whole lap. So let's see what the top speed comes out at. Now, one thing I love that this thing is based on OCC, Orange County Choppers. Surely everyone watching this has heard of Orange County Choppers, and the reason I love that they based it on this is because those guys from that programme, they would fit in so well in Los Santos. It's just a shame we could never get a cameo, but that would have meant them working together, which is not something they were particularly well known for.
7:15. Yeah, don't tell me that bullshit, because you this word involved here. Let me tell you something. But it's about time.
Right, so as we get ready to finish, time for final review and recommendations to buy or not to buy. Ooh, and I'm really torn with this one. I think this is probably the best looking bike in the game, actually. I've made my views on the Kuchu Drag clear. I think that thing is fug ugly. Most of the other bikes are fairly generic. Some of the choppers are a bit tame. So in terms of really good looking bikes and really good looking vehicles, this is definitely up there. So if you're collecting, then yeah, I would say go for it. All the bikes are better through the traffic than cars, so it's definitely worth picking up some bikes, because even if you look at these bikes having relatively poor top speeds, they still put in good lap times because they're so much easier to get through traffic. The downside to that being is if you do hit something at full speed, there's a good chance you're going to die. But I would recommend picking up some bikes anyway. And if you want the good looking stuff, then yeah, it's a bit expensive, so if you've got plenty of cash, then it's a good one to buy. And I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you all on the next one.